Davis. I'm sitting here with a special guest, a veteran in this state of music. Got my man Ron Paul in the building. What's going on, homie?
Nah, chillin'. What's going on?
How you, man?
I'm doing good, man.
It's good to meet you, man. It's my first time meeting you. I heard a lot about you.
I hope it's good, man. Coming from this state.
Most of it. You know, you got your haters here and there, but you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, coming from this state, you know, is known for the haters. How do you survive this long in this game, you know? I know you've been putting in work for a long time now.
You know, the thing about it, when I first started, actually not even when I first started, but through the years, you know, you watch the other artists go through the game and they do the music shit. And then by the time when I was about to started getting into motion, I already knew, like, well, we coming from Hartford. I'm coming from the state, nobody's never made it and stuff, so, you know, you're gonna have people that's just automatically not gonna like you from that. So my whole strategy from the start was, let me get in, but let me get into this mixtape mode, because mixtapes reach all these other states. You ain't gonna have that issue with being local or from that area when, you know, people in Rhode Island, New York, or Atlanta is hearing your music. They just gonna judge it based off the music. So you didn't have to, I didn't want to position myself to deal with just only Hartford and stuff. So my main concern was just always reaching out and stuff, and it's always been good out of state.
So you said when you started, you looked at how other artists was moving at the time, right?
Yeah.
So when did you start, and what other artists was you looking to?
When I started, it's just like different periods. As far as
when you first started, when you
first
was like,
started,
man, I want to do this.
Like '98, after I got expelled from Weaver and stuff. So
what artist was out at that time?
At that time, it wasn't even. That's when I first started as far as writing.
Mm-hmm.
As far as when I started noticing artists, it was like 2000. So you had Diamond Guns and you had PT. At that period of time, with Messenger Records that was doing their thing, so I was looking at what was going on with them and stuff. So at that period,
definitely. And I asked that question because a lot of times I feel like being from Hartford, we don't respect our own legacy. We don't respect the people that came before, you know, the guys that's doing it now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, it's funny when you think about it. When I was just on the phone with somebody down in ATL. And they told me that they don't like East Coast artists. I don't think it's anything personal. It's just they like they artists that they
right. They sound, yeah,
and stuff. So when you have it, you come back up north, and you have people that don't like you just because you're from this area, or they feel as though their boy is better and stuff. You know, it's just like you're not even dealing with music. You're dealing with a mental aspect of the game. It ain't nothing. It ain't the ears, it's the brain and how they feel about it. And it ain't no different from New York, because I done seen A Mafia and K Slay complain about the same thing. So it's just, I mostly look at it as a northern thing, an East Coast thing. You know, it's not the same when you go down south and stuff, and they support their artists and stuff. So, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your name, man. Now Ron Paul, he's a politician. He's a very controversial politician. He's one of my favorite politicians. Like, I wore the shirt 2012. I said, you know, I had the shirt vote for Ron Paul and all that.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people aren't familiar with that. So how did you pick that name, and why did you pick that name?
I picked that name because at this time I was in a group, a website called Rap Mullet, and I was talking on AIM at the time to a producer that made beats, and he sent me over a beat and stuff, and he asked me what was my name, and I was like, my name is Rel and stuff. He's like, well, it's already an artist named Rel, you're gonna have to pick another name. Why don't you use it? Since you like Ron Paul so much, why don't you use his name? I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna use his name, because people gonna be thinking I'm dick riding too much. I ain't gonna do it. So he's like, why? You know, shoot, Jim Jones, look where he got his name from. So I sat there and I thought about it, like, yeah, this nigga Jim Jones killed like 1,000 people in one day, and he's running with that name. And you gonna tell me that y'all gonna have a problem with me using Ron Paul? So that's how I was thinking. So that when he suggested that, I was like, no, what, fuck it.
So do people have a problem? Because I watched one of your videos and I was scrolling through the YouTube comments, and sometimes that's a bad idea. I was scrolling through the YouTube comments and it was like, man, how dare he use that man's name?
Well, when you look, because what the problem is with them, you got adamant Ron Paul supporters. You don't have like a politician that people just support while they running for president at that time or something. You have a guy that people ideologically, they love him, you know. So when you have that dynamic, it's no different from my love for him at the same time, but I looked at it from the perspective like, well, I'm using the name, I'm appeal to a whole totally different audience that don't know that he exists. So some people notice the big picture of it, but the ones that don't, they just look at, oh, here's a rapper using the name Ron Paul and he ain't talking about politics and he's talking about this and that and it ain't got nothing to do with Ron Paul. And then, you know, so.
But you paying homage though.
Shoot. Jim Jones paying homage.
I guess so, right?
But you know, actually the difference between his name and the Ron Paul name is on the simple fact that was 1972. We're talking about 2008 to 2014, so he's still relevant.
Right,
so when you type in Ron Paul, his name is gonna pop up over mine and stuff. But I'm just doing basically the street thing, so the audience that see that name ain't gonna know who he is.
Definitely. So we're not gonna hear too much about you know, Democratic, Republican ideology. That's the word I'm trying to choose. And your rhymes. You rhyme about street stuff.
Well, no. Well, actually, I'd rather do both. But you're gonna get more of the street stuff than that. It's a tactic. A strategy that I'm using with that. So I don't want to give it out just yet. But it's to me, it's like similar to what Tupac did when he was arguing on the phone with Mutulu Shakur. And Mutulu would tell him, like, what you talking about this thug code? Like, what you mean a thug? I'm in jail with a bunch of these no good motherfuckers that rob a woman. And Pop is telling him, like, look, we're in a different time. I just can't come out and get all political.
Right.
And because people don't want to hear that, so I got to deal with people in my way that fits. So, you know, it's the same thing to me. Actually, I said I was going to say it, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. I can't just come out and just be like, yo, talk about Ronald Reagan or talk about the CIA, the FBI, because people are not into that type of stuff. So you can't force feed people something that they don't want to accept. And you know, and what's funny, I was at the battle event, Loaded Lux versus Hollow the Don, and then when you go on Facebook and look at the comments and stuff of what people are saying, they be like, what the you know, the Loaded Lux lost the battle because he went on stage with that dumbass Black Panthers outfit. Like, what does the outfit got to do with the bars? And so when you watch a battle, you just supposed to decide who's better.
Right, off of the bars. Off of the presentation too, but I
don't think the presentation to me don't matter. You know, I'm a Wu-Tang fan. I love Master Killer.
So you don't think the Wallabies and Ghostface coming out with the mask had anything to do with their success? Nothing at all.
Bars and music. If you could rap, you got lyrics. You just gotta have a good beat. But Ghostface was the least popular one. That's why he was the fifth one to come out of the solo. For the solo album. So obviously the mask didn't help that much. He got his album out after he did the Only Built for Cuban Links. So you know, Meth was the most popular one, and he was the first one to release the album with no mask. So the only thing that I say that helped the Klan was probably using the kung fu aspect of it and making it something serious, not that foosh niggas type of shit, kung fu and shit. But
yeah, you spoke a little bit about the battle. You said you was at the Hollow the Don Loaded Lux. That's a classic battle, man.
Yeah,
that's one of the best battles I ever seen, man. You was there?
Yeah, I was at.
What was that like? What was the atmosphere like, man?
It was funny, cause he comes into the event and he got the plastic rifles, shotguns and shit. And you know, I look over, I'm like, dang, man, that's what's up. But the only thing, I end up getting emotional a little bit, because now you're starting to, I'm into the Malcolm X and the Black Panthers. And I started looking at that and thinking like how would Malcolm feel about it, and then you look at it and be like, the only thing I didn't like about it was he had a picture with Malcolm with the gun in his hand at the window. And I understand. My thing is, when you dealing with somebody like Malcolm, the image is most important. You can't just take any old thing of Malcolm and just use it the way you want to use it, because since he is a historical figure, you know, you don't want to send off the wrong message to people, because people are more into Malcolm, the militant, the gun holding. They're not into what he believed in, his philosophy. And I don't like to misrepresent Malcolm with people thinking like of a shotgun. They don't think of black power and you know, controlling the economy and the hood and stuff. So that's my only problem. But in the way, the context that how he had it, I understand it, because it was the Black Panthers, and that's more of a militant, active type of.
Yeah, man. I think that "Say No to Drugs" sign he had for Hollow, that was priceless, man. Priceless.
You know what? Cause that junk, when I see the picture, his face was looking all crazy. I'm like, yo, he did it right. Yeah. The only thing was, Hollow the Don said something in the battle that goes back to why I can't just go out and become full-blown political or talk about politics and music. Because he said in the battle, he's like, I don't know the exact for verbatim, but he said something to the fact like, we don't want to hear that bullshit, Sharif.
Yeah.
And that's how, and that's how niggas in the hood see it. So imagine if I come out and I got a song and I'm talking about power to the people and this, nigga, I don't want to hear that bullshit, Sharif. So you can't just force it into people's faces. You got to give it to them in doses. It's like, it reminds me of what Ghostface said, you can't feed a baby steak and stuff, so you got to give it to them little by little so people can eventually accept it and stuff.
So what's next for Ron Paul? We looking at a mixtape, an album, we shooting videos. I see you be on the road a little bit here and there.
Right now the next step for me is to do the Hartford mixtape. And I'm trying to wrap that up.
Is that a collaborative thing, or is that just you?
Just me and stuff. I got a few other artists on there from Hartford that's jumping on the mixtape.
Like who's that?
In the city, I got Chase of Millions. I'm gonna have Oscar Black and Gold. I'm working on another one and stuff, but I don't want to say just yet, because you know, see how that one pans out. But I'm just doing that. And the next, as far as that, my plan is to release to do a video and stuff, and then release a DVD and a mixtape at the same time to, you know, hit the streets, so everything could be coordinated and stuff.
Definitely, man.
Yeah, sure.
You gotta make that run up to the station, man. 89.9. I'm on Saturdays 3 to 5, man. We need to hook something up, man.
I've been up there before and stuff.
Oh, you a vet, man. You've been up there before. I was around, man.
Well, you know, that ain't no problem, man. You hit me. I'm around, man. You know, to me, I just like to be active, and you know, to me, I appreciate people like you that interview artists like us and stuff, because without y'all, we don't have a platform to be heard. I'm not gonna sit there and interview myself and stuff. So, you know, people like you is appreciated, at least to me and stuff, and I appreciate, you know, the contribution that everybody in Hartford makes, at least to the scene. To me, I feel more comfortable and confident that we eventually get to the top and stuff, you know, especially with all the music that I hear from the artists. To me, it's no different. Actually, I ain't gonna say no different. Actually, it's better than a lot of the mainstream artists and stuff. So it's just a matter of time and stuff. You just got to make the moves and shit.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Ron Paul, man, give out your Twitter, your Facebook, Instagram, all that, man.
Well, everything, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And what else? YouTube is all the same. It's Ron Paul Raps with an S at the end. And you know, I just follow me if you want. I'm more concerned about y'all getting the mixtape when it come out and stuff. Internet stuff, I'm not into that. I'm more of a street campaign guy and stuff. So just get that mixtape when you see it on the streets, man.
Definitely, man. Appreciate you passing through. Ron Paul Raps. Speed Davis.
Yo, it's your boy Ron Paul, man. I'm about to spit a quick 16, maybe 24 for Swag TV, man. You know how niggas is apes the way we play in the jungle. I could get you killed for flower season, quarter water. Hoes love me, they know I'm hood rich. I'm only fucking bitches nowadays that's celibate. A nigga cocky, flamboyant, the wrist enormous. All the rocks on my neck look like another orbit. When I let the Glock off the damn meter, I'll get your whole clip wet like fire sprinklers. Bitches swallow of my sperm when they pregnant. Vitamin C for they seeds when they digest it. Hectic, my whole block fucked up. Crackheads on some bullshit, getting yoked up. Whole team killers, they all hold the beam, so I can get your ass lined up like a G-string. Flow tighter than Speedos and spandex, so my royalty check to keep me out of debt. What's up?